UFC Fight Night, Maddalena vs. PRATES is going down this Saturday, and I'm going to give you my predictions over the entire card. We will be awake at 4 a.m. to watch this card. Yes, we will be awake. It should be a decent card, so let's get right into it. Starting with the early prelim opener of Dom Marfan versus Cody Steele. Don Marfan is a decent fighter, but he went through the road to UFC, and fought on Eternal MMA, which I keep hearing is like the premier Australian MMA league. But everyone I see from what I can see in Eternal MMA is it's not super good competition. You know, there are some studs. I think Quinlan Salkild was on Eternal MMA. Probably a few others. But Dom Marfan fought in Eternal MMA and then went to road to UFC. Fought 3 nobodies at road to UFC. And now he's fighting Cody Steele. And Cody Steele looks really good against Rong Zhu. Even though he lost that fight, I think he's a better fighter than Dom Marfan. I think Cody Steele gets this one done. Next up the card, we have Jonathan McAuliffe versus Temba Gorimbo. I'm taking McAuliffe to win this fight. He's got a decent ground game. Gorimbo has struggled with getting submitted in the past. I just don't really think Gorimbo is very good. I don't necessarily think he's UFC caliber. He is tough, but I think he's gonna get submitted in this fight. I think McAuliffe's gonna rely on his ground game. I do think he's gonna be able to get Gorimbo down. If Gorimbo can keep this on the fight, he has a chance. But I don't think he's gonna be able to keep it on the feet. I think McAuliffe wins this fight by sub. Gorimbo gets subbed. That's kind of his weakness, is he gets subbed, and I think McAuliffe is gonna be able to find that. He is kind of a submission specialist. I think he gets it done. Next up the card, we have Benjamin Johnston versus Wes Schultz. I'm gonna take Benjamin Johnston to win this fight. Wes Schultz, I don't really think he has a chin. He's been punched and put away by some stuff that should not put him away, Like jab, straight right, put him away. Old Penis just stretched him out, flatlined him, I think Johnston's gonna get the knockout in this fight. He is primarily a jiu-jitsu guy. He likes to get it to the ground and go for the submissions. Schultz is a submission guy also. I think Johnston wins this fight. I have not liked what I've seen from Wes Schultz in his previous fights that I've seen. I watched both of his Contender Series fights and then his debut against Penis. Did not like it. I will be taking Johnston to win this fight. Next up the card, we have Colby Thicknessy versus Vince Morales. I'm gonna take Thicknessy to win this fight. Morales' last win is against Hunter Azure, and that guy's washed. I mean, I hate to say it. It was fun kind of growing up seeing like, oh, there's a guy from Poplar fighting in the UFC. What? Poplar? What? That's crazy. If you know ball, you know ball. That is crazy to have someone from Poplar fighting in the UFC. Um, but I mean, yeah, Hunter Azur's losing in the local regional promotions now. He's fighting in Fusion and he's losing in Fusion. So I don't think he's there. He was Morales' last win. That was in 2024. I think Nessie just I think he gets it done. I think he's a better fighter. I think he's actually UFC caliber, and I think he will win this fight by sub. I think he is a very solid jiu-jitsu guy. Um, I think he and Volk work ground game. No Diddy, but I think he and Volk work ground game a lot. So I think he's gonna get this one done by sub. On to the next. Ooh, we have Jacob Malkoun versus Gerald Mearshart. I really, really want to choose GM3 to do GM3 things. You know, outlast the first round, build through the second, and then win it in the third. But he hasn't done that in his last few fights. And Malkoun has the power to put him away in the first. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Malkoun's going to go out there and beat up Gerald Mearshart. And if he doesn't happen to put him away in the first, you know, Mearshart had this kind of deal where he was hard to beat in the first, he was really hard to beat in the second, and he was almost impossible to beat in the third. But I don't think that's the case anymore. I think Unk's done, you know. I yeah, I think he should hang him up after this fight. Win or lose, even if he somehow flukes a sub on Malkoun or something, just hang him up. Sail off into the sunset. It's been a solid career. What is that? 58 fights? 58 professional fights is crazy, you know. Big ups to him. But I think he's done. And I will be taking Jacob Malkoun to win this fight. Next up the card. We got Junior Tafa versus the guy from Key and Peele.
God is the teacher, Derek is the student, and I am God's instrument.
He has actually made it to the UFC now. Congratulations to him. You know, pre-fight, he's going to be talking some shiz, you know. I will be taking Kevin Christian to beat Junior Tafa. Christian does have a ground game. That's the main deciding factor here. Both of these guys are just big gangly fucks, really, if you really break it down. A little bit of athleticism between the two of them, but you know, they're fighting for second place type deal. Christian, he has subs. He has won fights on the ground before, so I will be taking him to beat Junior Tafa. The Tafa brothers just have refused to incorporate any sort of ground game into their training. These guys are kickboxers who just fight in the best MMA organization in the world. That's basically what it is. You know, if you're not going to try and take them down, it could be a scrap. But if you try and take them down, you're going to get the takedown and you're going to win. That's all there is to it. So I will be taking Kevin Christian to win this fight by sub. I think he gets it done, and I think Junior Tafa's done after this fight. I don't think they give him another. He doesn't really have the name value of even really of his brother, Justin. Junior's, he got in the UFC because he was Justin's brother, right? He took a few heavyweight fights, and then now he's down at light heavyweight, so it might be different, but 6-5 is not a good look. So I will not be choosing you to win. Maybe work some wrestling or jiu-jitsu or something. I don't know what else. Mexican ground karate. I don't know, man. Do something other than just like stand there and blob around and roll and submit yourself. Kevin Christian, to get this one done, submission. On to the feature fight of the prelims. We have Cam Rouston versus Robert Bryshek. I'm gonna be taking Robert Bryshek to win this fight. I don't think Cam Rouston's really that good. He lost to Torres Finney in his Contender Series, or on a Contender Series fight. He beat a Chinny Petrosky and then Cody Brundage in his UFC career so far. And like I said, he lost to Torres Finney. I do not rate that, Bryshek is solid. He's got power. If Rouston wants to just stand and bang, I think he's going to get knocked out. Bryshek is solid. I think the big determining factor here is obviously the ground game. If Bryshek can keep it on the feet, he's going to win this fight. No doubt in my mind. I don't think Rouston's offensive grappling is good enough to get the takedowns, I think Bryshek's going to have to mess up to end up on the ground, which could happen. Obviously, stuff happens. But I think Robert gets this one done. And, I just don't think Rouston's that good. That's really what I'm choosing off of here. Robert Bryshek is better and is going to win this fight. On to the main card. Oh goodness me. We have Tai Tuivasa versus Louis Sutherland. Wow. I will be taking Tai Tuivasa to win this fight. Louis Sutherland has not looked even remotely the same since he's been forced to get off the juice after coming to the UFC. If Tui loses this fight, I think he should hang up any and all form of combat sport, anything. No coaching, no going in the gym to say hi every now and then. Just hang him up and be done. This is a layup of all layups. And honestly, you could be saying that about Tuivasa to Louis Sutherland also. 0-7. This is definitely one of the heavyweight fights of all time. You know what I mean? This is sick. Both these guys have to cut to make fucking 265 pounds at 6'2" and 6'3". Just marvels of the human body. You know what I mean? These guys are just chiseled human beings. I will be taking Tuivasa to win. Enough about this fight. On to Shamil Gaziev. Shamil the Blob Gaziev versus Brando Peric. I'm going to take Shamil to win this fight. I picked against Brando in his last one, but in his last one he was fighting Louis Sutherland. So that was I don't I don't know, man. I must have got lobotomized before that pick or something, but I think I do rate Shamil actually as a decent fighter. Um, when funny story, when he first came to the UFC, I kept hearing that he was on the Olympic team for some, like the UAE Olympic team. He was on the Olympics or went to the Olympics or whatever, whatever. And I just assumed it was for wrestling. And then come to find out it was for like sand volleyball. So dude was just like killing it in the sand volleyball, but did not have a fighting background until he started MMA. So I don't know. I thought that was super funny. Um, I will be taking him to win this fight. I think his wrestling's better. He's just a bigger guy. Um, Parrish is taller, but in the ring, Gaziev just is. There's an aura about Gaziev. It's like, oh wow, it's cool. Don't want to touch him. I'll get sucked in. I think this is gonna be a tough one for Brando. He does have power in his hands. Obviously, he could clip Gaziev, but Gaziev does have a decent chin. Um, he's coming off a KO loss to Waldo, but Waldo Cortez, Acosta, um, the pirate guy who used to play baseball, has a bunch of kids. Um, that guy seems like he just has a knack for hitting the button on people. So I'm not looking into that one too deep. I think Shamil gets it done by a boring heavyweight decision, but he gets it done. Next up the card, we have Tim Elliott versus Steve Erceg. On paper, Steve Erceg should win this fight. But Elliott is still dangerous. He is a very solid fighter. He's very skilled, very experienced. He can beat you up on the feet. He can submit you. He can win a decision. He can finish you. He can get you out of there early. Steve Erceg hasn't looked the best, but he hasn't looked terrible either. In his last fight, he did not look very bad. I think Tim Elliott's kind of the level of competition that Steve Erceg can beat, so I will be taking Steve Erceg to win this fight. This is a tough one though. Tim Elliott kind of looks like the wild man or the thing from Barnyard. The little dancing fella. I don't know if you guys know ball like I do, but that's all I'm seeing when I see this guy. Got Steve Carell versus the dancing guy from Barnyard. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm going Steve Erceg to win this fight. I don't think it's gonna be like a very clean performance. I think it's gonna be a very close, kind of a gritty, bit of a boring performance, honestly. But it's gonna be a unanimous decision to Steve Erceg. Next up, we have the co-main event of the evening. Old Benny D, Beneil Dariush versus Quinlan Salkild. Oh, Benny, I am sorry, but you are going to the Shadow Realm. There's not much to say about this. Quinlan has power in his hands. He can put people away. Beneil Dariush, his chin's gone. Salkild's got 3 inches of reach. He's the taller guy. He's got a bigger frame. And I guess the elephant in the room is Dariush is Iranian. You know, that's not white. So if the prophecy is correct, Salkild's gonna put this guy on a t-shirt this weekend. So I will be taking Quinlan Salkild. First round KO. I think it's gonna go quick. I don't really think there's gonna be much of a fight, really. I think Salkild's gonna find the chin quick on Dariush. Yeah. Salkild to win. First round KO. And on to the main event. This is a solid fight. We have Jack Della Maddalena versus Carlos Prates. I will be taking Carlos Prates. Here's what I'm stuck up on. You know, JDM is a phenomenal boxer. He's got a solid chin on him. He's just a tough little fella. But he gets hit a lot, you know? And I don't think Prates is the type of guy that you want to go in there and just get hit by. I think if it were, you know, just straight boxing, JDM has the better boxing. Actual, like, fighting and finishability, I think Carlos is just levels and levels above JDM. Obviously, JDM used to be champ. He did not defend, though. I think he won it, lost it to Islam, I believe. I think Carlos, 25 minutes is a long time to be in there with a power puncher. I think Carlos puts him away. I could see JDM sticking it out to a decision, but I just think Carlos puts him away, gets it done by finish. I don't think it's going to be another highlight. I don't think he's going to slime out JDM, but I think it's going to be a tough TKO. You know, I think he might drop him. JDM kind of covers up a little bit. Carlos just keeps on feeding them to him, you know. As old Tim Welch would say, he's just feeding him juicers. And the ref jumps in, stops the fight. I don't think JDM's going to be sleeping, but I think he's definitely going to be out of the fight. So we will be taking Carlos Prates to win. That was the video. Thank you for watching. Those were my predictions over the entire card of UFC Fight Night. Della Maddalena versus Carlos Prates. This has been Wheezy MMA. I'm Wheezy, and I'm out. Have a good one.